That brings us down to Washington State, and our executive team member for Washington, Carlos Clements. Carlos was appointed program manager for the Washington State Department of Ecology, Spill Prevention, Preparedness, and Response in August of 2021. He has a storied history with the U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command and has served as a crisis response team chief. Carlos lives in Lacey, Washington, and enjoys spending time outdoors and with his family. So with that, Carlos, I think I'll pass things over to you and let us know how we can help you get set up.
Thank you, Meg. I really appreciate it. So much. As Meg wonderfully said, my name is Carlos Clements, and I have the distinct pleasure of being program manager here. We have that up there, Meg.
The slides just went away. They're there.
Okay. No worries. And next slide, please. We're one of 11 environmental programs at the Department of Ecology. We have 100 employees in the program throughout the state, and we supplement oil response with after-hours teams made up of additional resources with other programs within the agency. That adds another 23 responders to our team. We have a 24/7 posture for oil spill response and provide national standards in preparedness and prevention plans. We are very fortunate to have a supportive body of legislators and people of Washington with high expectation and zero tolerance for oil spills. That's the team. Next page. Could you slide, please? Sorry. This is one of the big questions that's constantly asked of us. The Model Toxic Control Operating Account receives, or MICA, receives 60% of $1.48 of tax on petroleum products. It funds not just the spills program, but about 40% of ecology. The oil spill prevention account is funded by the oil spill administration tax, which is 4 cents per barrel of crude oil and petroleum products imported into the state. Less than equal credit for barrels exported. The oil spill response account is funded by the oil spill response tax, which is 1 cent per barrel. Less than equal credit for export. It also receives money through cost recovery from responsible parties for the cost of spill response. The coastal protection account receives money from natural resource damage assessments. The 25-27 biennial budget for the spills program is $45.5 million. Next slide. This is the total amount of oil moved in Washington. Quite a bit. 1 billion. I had to look twice myself. I had to make sure it wasn't in one thing, but it's actually billions. So it's quite a bit. We do quite a bit. Next slide. I think this map is something that some of you have seen before. But in the corner, it says 20 billion gallons of oil in movement. There are 55 oil handling companies, roughly 4,000 vessels transporting oil in our state. Each year, we have 800 miles of pipeline and 2,000 miles of rail tracks. But this picture actually shows oil movement throughout the state, and it's quite large. To lay out the oil landscape in our state, we see over 20, like I said, 20 billion gallons. We also conduct more than 400 vessel inspections and 500 oil transfer inspections annually. We conduct over 100 drills each year, including small table exercises, equipment deployment, and worst-case discharge drills. We receive around 4,500 report incidents every year, and we respond 24/7 and investigate all of these to determine which incidents need our on-scene presence to either monitor cleanup by the responsible party or conduct a cleanup ourselves. About 20% of these receive a field response by ecology staff. Next page. We have a rulemaking that is in process now. The tug escort rulemaking is being led by the State Board of Pilotage Commission. It will establish new tug escort requirements or change existing requirements. And it's coming along really well. It's been a fruitful collaboration. A little different normally, but very, very enlightening. And it'll make the water to Washington and our partners safer. So we're really appreciative. I'll leave that up for a second for anyone who's wishing to read it. I won't bore you with my voice. And next slide. This is something that just happened recently. The Petrocard Indian Creek spill, Port Angeles. Look at the top right, and we have a QR code where you can take a picture of it and get more information. But the July 18th, Ecology responded to a fuel truck rollover that spilled approximately 3,000 gallons of gasoline and several hundred gallons of diesel into the Indian Creek near the confluence with the Elwha River. We had several challenges and successes. Very busy initial week with significant engagement from the governor's office, local municipal drinking water impacts that led to no drink order for several weeks. The initial concerns from tribe that led to government discussion about the response, long-term response with high stakes for salmon habitat impacts, Lower Elwha tribe and unified command and in the field. Spill occurred just before the annual tribal canoe journeys, which was hosted by the Lower Elwha tribe this year. Initial lodging challenges for responders due to the busy summer travel in the area. Fish and invertebrates die off from gasoline and diesel toxicity, and decades-long restoration projects impacted by the spill. Pretty much about everything that could happen happened during this. But we worked as a team, worked with our community, and we pushed through. And it could not have been possible without our partners and just basically everyone leading in trying to get this resolved. It was a heavy lift, a lot of no time, but we made it happen, and I couldn't be prouder of the group. One of the other things that occurred was a transition from the spill response to site mitigation within ecology. That's one of the biggest highlights. People just see ecology. When we go from the emergency stage to the mitigation stage to the next part, it's usually going to the taco cleanup program. There's still ecology, but we're switching from emergency response and handing it off to our sister program that can oversee the long-term recovery. And basically ecology itself isn't leaving. We're just shifting and changing over to the next phase of the process. And that can be missed sometimes because they see us getting ready to leave. And it's like, no, we're still here. It's just another program that is better situated. We're the first responder, the quick response. We're out of the emergency stage. We're now into the long-term recovery, and we're still talking to you. The faces might be a little different, but we are still here. And it's something that sometimes gets lost, but once they realize they're still getting the high quality dedication from the program or from the government, from the state. Folks generally feel a little bit better, but we're dealing with folks at the worst time, dealing with traumatic incidences, so we understand. And when we're dealing with our tribal partners, this is ancestral land, and words don't cover enough of it. So being aware of that, trying to understand the best that we can to assist and help is all that we can do, but we try to do as much as we can in order to try to get us into a better place to get this resolved and cleaned in a better situation than it was before. Next slide. Oh, the fun one. Yes. The Tug Dominion sinking in Bremerton Marina. If you look at the map, it's lower bottom right of the slide in Kitsap County at Bremerton Marine. On September 17th, Ecology responded to the sinking of the decommissioned World War II era wooden tugboat. The vessel was being used as a residence and had an unknown amount of oil aboard in fuel tanks and other containers. Some of the challenges and the successes. Responders were already nearby for another sunken vessel response to PC Cardes, or Cardes, or I think it's Cardes. Yeah, tearing up the name, my apology. The good coordination with the United States Coast Guard and the Marina, and I cannot emphasize that enough. The Marina and the United States Coast Guard are outstanding, but beyond beyond comparable on this response. Their response and their partnership made this all possible, and we are continually grateful for their participation and help in this. They lean, even with all the unique things going on, they lean in as they always do. But I have nothing but high praise to the SDF's estate for their partnership, and they really made this possible. Impacts to the marina and tenants resulting in need for claims process for financial impacts. Currently, no impacts to wildlife, which is a true blessing. The vessel is not safe for divers to access for controlling the source of leaking oil due to the currents and the location. Containment boom surrounds the vessel and it's being maintained daily. Responders' presence on scene is ongoing to monitor for changes and federal government shutdown has had manageable impacts on the response, and the vessels cannot be lifted and salvaged intact, so it must be deconstructed in place and removed. The current operational pause until a decision is made on how best to proceed with the salvage, which is coming soon. But the biggest concern is to make sure the safety of the divers and the people are involved. And it is textbook, and again, high praise to the people involved and to our partners, the United States Coast Guard. They've been outstanding partners in this. Next slide. Looking into 2026, for decades, the Northwest Area Contingency Plan, or NWACP, as it was called, I think it's going to be called the Regional Area Contingency Plan, well, in the future, outlined oil and hazardous substance spills preparedness and response policies practices in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. This one plan served as a Regional Contingency Plan, RCP, Inland and Coastal Area Contingency Plan, or ACPs, and is the state plan for Washington and Oregon. In 2017, the United States Coast Guard directed each captain of the port to create standalone coastal ACPs that are distinct for the regional RCPs. In 2021, both sector Puget Sound and sector Columbia River published their own standalone coastal ACPs. These changes have necessitated a change in how oil and hazardous substance contingency plan is implemented in the Pacific Northwest. As a result, the regional planning partners have been working through a process to develop a new framework for contingency planning. Liquid hazardous substance rulemaking, I think this is, liquid hazardous substance rulemaking. The International Maritime Organization Carbon Reduction Strategy has aggressive targets to reach net zero GHG emissions from international shipping by 2050, which are driving a shift toward alternate zero or near zero GHG fuels. While a key vote on the IMO net zero framework has been delayed into 2026, the underlying requirements for vessels to measure and reduce carbon intensity are already in effect. Ecology is preparing to help with this transition by supporting and encouraging the safe transition to low and zero carbon maritime fuels to align our regulations with federal requirements for transferring liquid hazardous substances to and from vessels. The contingency planning rule updates, following our best achievable protection process, we are looking to announce a rule update to the Sea Plan rule in early 2026. Ecology is required to review our planning standards every 5 years and update rules as needed. Building on our core work, we continue to operate in a challenging budget environment, as all of you, I'm understanding, are in the same position at the state level and with the shifting federal landscape. Despite that, we remain capable and focused on our core work of preventing and preparing for and responding to spills. Our top priority is to fill vacancies as soon as we can to bring our sections up to full strength. Next slide. And that's pretty much an update from Washington. I really appreciate your time, and I want to give a big kudos out to my staff for putting this together. As many of you understand, we've all been swamped, but I'm completely lost without them, and they make it look easy, but I am deeply humbled by their presence and their knowledge. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to address it what I can.
Thank you, Carlos. Always appreciate your insights and updates. And thanks to all three of our speakers. I was really struck by the variety of case studies from vessels, truck rollovers, train derailments, natural disasters. I hope it's starting to give folks a sense of what it looks like across the coast. Also struck by quick responses that in many cases prevented larger environmental impacts. So I know many of you on the call, I imagine, participated in one of these responses and have direct experience with some of what was shared. Okay, so